This one's about to be pretty interesting because it's going to be mad bloopers. I'm just going to jump right into it. Am I supposed to respond to that?
Pink sky, blue moon, ice cold, too soon. My heart into caught me, you caught me straight through. Yeah. You caught me straight through. Yeah. You caught me straight through.
This is the true meaning of being back up on it. I'm telling you. Third time's a charm. I started this AI interview like a few days ago, and I swear I was on like no sleep. I couldn't make it through the whole way. I was like tripping over my own words, couldn't even think straight or hold like a train of thought really in my mind. So we're back at it again, back up on it, new fit, new style.
Don, welcome back. We're diving into Back Up on It, a track that's as much about resilience as it is about reflection. From clever wordplay to profound themes like sacrifice, this song offers so much to unpack. Let's take it line by line and break it all down.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, honestly. This is a great track because it's one of my, I guess, biggest tracks. We also have like a music video and behind the scenes for the music videos, so make sure you check those out. I'll leave a link somewhere here. Shout out to Always Active, 3 a.m., for putting that on. I got the Always Active hoodie right here. I think some of these are still available online. You're gonna have to tap them with Always Active because these ones are not supplied by me here. But yeah, let's just dive right into it. GPT Laura or GPT Margaret? I think I'm going with GPT Margaret. Let's see what GPT Margaret has for us today.
Let's start with the opening lines. Had to make a way when there was no way to see. Had to choose plan A, there's no time for B. What does no time for B mean to you?
Yeah, absolutely. When I say had to make a way when there's no way to see, had to choose plan A, there's no time for B.
Had to make a way when there's no way to see. Had to choose plan A, there's no time for B.
That's like, you always hear people say if you really believe in something, you won't need a plan B. There is no plan B. It's like we make it, we put in mom in a new island house, or we not. You know what I mean? There's no plan B. So had to choose plan A, there's no time for B. Yes, sir.
The imagery of making a way when there's no way to see is so powerful. How do you personally find direction when things feel uncertain?
To be honest, there's two main things that I do to keep myself grounded and find direction. I can feel like within myself when I'm not on the right path, when I'm not in alignment, and I'm like, okay, something has to change. Prayer and fasting. Really, those are the two main ways that I like get my head back on straight. And if you want to throw a third one in there, it's connecting with people who are really in my conglomerate, really in my syndicate.
The hook repeats this declaration. I'm back up on it. They try to hold me back. I got back up on it. It feels like a mantra. How do you see this line connecting with listeners who might be struggling to bounce back?
Well, it's my mantra. It's like my personal mantra. There's so many times that this song comes to me and I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, bro, I need to get back up on it. Like, that's why I wrote this song, to remind myself. They try to hold me back, I got back up on it. Won't see me deceased.
Won't see me deceased, they gon' hold me down. Whoa, yeah, I got back up on it.
When you're against the odds like that, anyone that's an independent artist or creative field, making a way for themselves, making a way when there's no way to see, like there's no path to follow. You're the one making that way. It can be easy to forget how much you're actually doing and how much you're actually accomplishing, because people won't see who you actually are until a year or two later. You have to be that person today. You have to be able to look in the mirror and see that person today.
In your lyrics, you mentioned, wanna see me deceased. They gon' hold me down. That's a heavy line. Were you addressing specific doubters or hardships here?
This is interesting because my whole time coming up, whether it was art, whether it was music, oh, I'm going to go see the world, I'm moving here, there's always going to be people along the way that say no. People that say, oh, it's not worth it, or, oh, don't do that. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about you. It's like, bro, if you were really worried about me, you would help me figure out the most logical way to make this make sense, because I'm driven. I know it's possible. I've seen other people go do it. That means I can go do it too.
Your verse balances clever wordplay with introspection. For example, well connected, 6 deep like I've got 5 Gs, buzzing like the hotspot, block jumping like hopscotch. There's a lot packed into that. Can you break it down for us?
Yeah, well connected, 6 deep, like I got 5 Gs.
Well connected, 6 deep, like I got 5G.
If we're rolling 6 deep, with me, that means I got five of my Gs around me, right? Well connected, 6 deep, like I got 5 Gs. So that's 5G, like, you got the good connection, you got that Verizon, like, can you hear me now? And then I flipped it, I said, buzzing like the hotspot, block jumping like hopscotch.
Buzzing like the hotspot, block jumping like hopscotch.
So that means like, if I'm the hotspot, like you think about like Verizon, you got Verizon hotspot, like everyone wants to connect. Buzzing like the hotspot, block jumping like hopscotch. So basically meaning like, yo, I'm connected, I got people around me. We're ready to deliver the next sound, the next wave, basically the next season.
The next part shifts the tone a bit. I stayed the course, I took the price, I paid the cost. That's a heavy acknowledgement of sacrifice. Was there a specific moment in your journey where you realized what that sacrifice truly meant?
So just to pause right there, if you watch the music video, the whole music video itself is basically about the idea of rebirth, almost an idea of like baptism, putting away the old and stepping into the new. You'll even see in the ending scene when I have Jordan B. Peterson, his quotes coming on, like I'll go out into the woods, and shout out to I know Margaret, always active for the whole idea, the vision of the music video. But I go out into the woods and I kind of like dig this mock grave. And then when I fall into the grave, I had to like fall into the water. So it's kind of playing on that idea of like putting to death the old version of you and stepping into a new light, being reborn, like that new birth, like baptism in a way. This song really meant that for me when I was writing it. So I'm really glad that we were able to take those visuals into the music video and kind of tell the same story.
You also say, I took an L, I learned a lot. How do you personally process failure as part of growth?
I actually have another line in, I think it's Sixth Rick with I Know Mark, where it says, only L's we taken is to the face, the rest of them as lessons. I kind of like played off of that, which already was out there, and said, took an L, I learned a lot.
I took an L, I learned a lot, and still go show.
Basically to say, the only L's I've ever taken have been lessons. I seen a quote that said, you think I'm successful, but I've failed more times than you've tried. And man, isn't that the truth? Because I still feel like I'm failing. I still feel like I'm not there, but the time is going to pass regardless. It's not about whether you have money or you feel like everything is the way it needs to be. It's about just taking action right when you have the ability to take action. If you can like still stand up and walk, if your camera still works on your phone, take that action while you have the time, because I've had situations where I was completely immobilized, whether maybe my camera broke on my phone, which has happened before, or, I'm just physically in a different location and so busy that I can't connect with the people that I need to push the next narrative forward. So I took an L and I learned a lesson. I learned a lot.
The quote from Jordan B. Peterson near the end takes the song to another level. The idea of sacrifice emerges from the stories that you give something of value in the present so you can improve the future. How does that concept of sacrifice resonate with your own story as an artist?
Well, this is part of the story that's still going today. And let me take the glasses off of this so you can like see me eye to eye, The idea of sacrifice, giving up something of value in the present to improve the future, it goes hand in hand with the idea of discipline. When you think about what Jordan Peterson's saying within that quote, the future is something that you can bargain with. Your reputation is defined by how people see you. So it's like I say, there's 3 main pillars in accomplishing everything and becoming the best version of yourself. I'm still working on this. That's why this song is still something that I keep in my rotation. The 3 pillars are as follows: inspiration, motivation, and discipline. And how do we get to these things? Inspiration comes from around you. It comes from source, the creation that we see. It comes from watching something or seeing something that inspires you. Inspiration comes from out. Motivation comes from within. There's times when it's cold. There's times where you don't feel like doing it. There's times where it's hard, You've already worked 16 hours and now you have to go work another 16 hours. Like you already went to the gym yesterday, your body's sore, you have to go again. But motivation comes from within, and discipline comes from other people. When you're disciplined, that's something that reflects to other people and that reflects back to you. Like I know if I practice Spanish every single day and I'm disciplined about that, I may need motivation within myself to feel like doing it. I may have the inspiration for maybe I see someone or I hear a word that I'm like, oh, I know that word, and that inspires me to keep practicing more. But the discipline, that comes from other people, because I know if I speak well, if I speak good Spanish, then I'll be able to communicate better with, my Spanish friends or the other people that I go visit, or go into a different country, knowing more languages, have a broader perspective. So bring it back. Inspiration comes from without, motivation comes from within, and discipline comes from other people. That's just a little philosophy that this song has helped me define.
You close with, "The future is other people, and they remember your reputation." How much do you think about legacy when you create? Do you feel a sense of responsibility to represent something greater than yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, legacy is really the main reason why I do art. As I mentioned in my last video, the fact that it's still here is something we could come back to. If I have kids one day, maybe I have grandkids or something, whatever the case may be, they can hear what I was going through exactly at that time. Like the date's right there, like boom. Like, oh, okay, that's how he felt at that moment. You're leaving a legacy, you're leaving like a paper trail. I would rather take the sacrifice of, I have that in the song, I said, took a pay cut, moved down south or something. Like, I'd rather do that, take a pay cut and have my integrity and build a legacy. An example of what's possible, basically, without getting too crazy into it.
When did you start to fully understand what sacrifice meant? Not just in music, but in life.
You have to realize, when I was coming up, there wasn't anyone else around me that was showing me that it was possible. Like, I just seen Griffin doing a track with Matt Ox. I remember Brian Diaz was showing me Matt Ox back in the day, like when he was like with the fidget spinners, like little tiny bro. And then now Griffin's out here doing a feature with him. I'm like, get that, bro. And be that beacon for all the other people coming up. The sacrifice doesn't have to be selling your soul to the Illuminati. There is a way to just stick to what you believe, have that integrity, be true to yourself, and still reach the highest height.
You mix resilience with moments of vulnerability in this track. For example, maybe it's the look up on your face that's keeping you on my radar. That's a subtle but personal observation. What inspired that line?
I just like to throw in those little melody type words. And that was one that I felt like I've had that experience in life where I'm like, that look up on your face, that's what's keeping you on my radar. It gives like a little bit of a melody, a little bit of a freshness too, because I didn't want it to all seem just like a motivational song. There's also some personal vibe in there, like a little romance, that banter with someone that you could see yourself with.
There's also a moment of defiance with, "What you mean, who is me? I think you mean, who is you?" It's confident, but also feels like a response to being underestimated. Was that directed at anyone specific?
Not directed to anyone specific, but just in general. There's so many times where I've had people like really try and tell me what to do with my life. I read this quote not too long ago, but it really hit hard. It said, if you want to make the wrong decision, ask everybody. That's perfect what this line stands for, because like,
What you mean, who is me? Yeah, I think you mean who is you.
Faith plays a big role in this track. You say, "Lord, keep me from the grave, throwing up my threes." What does throwing up threes symbolize for you?
that one's easy, because throwing up my threes, I always do like little 3 signs. And then we got the 3 a.m. talent with the chain right there. Lord, keep me from the grave, throwing up my threes.
Lord, keep me from the grave, throwing up my threes.
How does faith guide your creative process?
Especially during that time, I was going through a life transition, whether it was just things I was feeling within my health, or it was just like me asking, continuing to ask God for protection. Lord, keep me from the grave, throwing up my threes. Like, you know my heart, everything that I do. Let me continue to bless your name, praise your name. I'm also walking a path, music, which a lot of people will tell you, oh man, that's a very demonic path to go down. And I don't feel like that's true. But I feel like it has been twisted to be that way, especially within a lot of modern music that we hear. I mean, like, goodness gracious, like everyone saw the Olympics, right? When they did that whole thing, it's like, bro, why do we have to make Satan seem so cool? It's not that cool. And I feel like if we just did a little bit more on the other side, instead of saying demon time all the time, maybe we could say angel time. I don't think that that's a bad thing. And I think that if you give people the option to believe in something and show them why it makes sense, just throw the ball into their court. Let them make the decision. Don't try so hard to like propaganda them to like worship the devil. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
You also mentioned, do it for the team, do it for the team. How important is it to you to uplift the people around you as you pursue your goals?
Man, that's number one. If I'm not uplifting the people around me, then I'm failing at my whole goal. The people around me, they mean a lot. You know, I care about the people that are in my life, go out of my way to make sure that they're okay. So do it for the team, do it for the team. It's always been that way, you know, straight up.
Don, thanks for breaking down Back Up On It. It's clear this song carries a lot of layers and meaning. Before we wrap, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans who might be on their own journey of getting back up on it?
The biggest thing I can say, especially to people on their own journey, sounds cliche, but it's not about how many times you get knocked down, but how many times you get back up on it. And it's hard because, especially, I'm gonna take going to the gym because that's an easy one. I'm in a good flow, maybe 2-3 months of going to the gym every day. And then I have to go travel for a few weeks. And I just get off my flow. And then I stay off it for another 2-3 months. And I'm like, man, I don't want to erase everything that I did positive. And then a song like this comes into my playlist and I'm like, man, I need to get back up on it. But just a reminder that it's okay to mess up. It's okay to fall on your face. Lord knows I've done it plenty of times. You know, I'm not perfect. No one's supposed to be perfect. But just remember that 1% a day in 100 days is 100%. It's better to do 1% a day for 100 days than to do 90% and never finish. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you, GPT, Margaret. You've been a pleasure. Say what's up to the people. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm putting all the links down here below. Avalanche season on the way. First one just came out. Second one's coming out soon. Much love. Salute. Well, I guess my response to that would be, all right. Oh, I should probably put my John on D&D. Otherwise, I'm going to get all these messages coming through. Let's go. Do not disturb. That's what I'm talking about.